It's an absolute honor to then lead you in this event today. Before I proceed, I just want to mention a few house rules. If you're looking for a bathroom, for the ladies, if you come out of this room, turn to your left and then take a right. That will be the ladies. And then for the gentlemen, it's the bathrooms are on your right. So if you leave here, take your right, and the bathrooms will be on your left. In terms of Wi-Fi, those who want to stay connected today, the Wi-Fi is either the East London ICC or ELICC, or the other one that's available is the ELICC _ internet. We are going to be breaking for tea around 10:30, depending on how the program goes. For lunch around 12:30, and then for afternoon tea around 3:30. But those times could change depending on how we fare today. And then those who would like to have some bite to eat, maybe you might have skipped breakfast for whatever reason, there is some welcome refreshments at the back. So without wasting any time, I am just going to play a short video. Then after, we are going to have the chairperson of ALT Capital Partners to do the welcoming remarks. Thank you.
The earth is born in fire and fury, in the crashing of the ocean waves and the temper of a darkening sky. Nature unleashes its forces, ruthless and relentless, in the shifting of seasons and the turmoil of a changing climate. Human nature too puts the planet in peril, threatening our hold on the precious resources that sustain life. And yet, the earth survives. The earth heals. For the true nature of our world and the nature of our species is resilience. Resilience is the ability to weather the storm, to confront challenge and change, to soldier through hardship, to overcome. Resilience is what it means to be human. Resilience is what it means to be a South African. As the new year dawned, there were fears that 2024 would be the worst year yet for load shedding, with the dial turned to stage 6 and beyond. Instead, for days at a time, then weeks, then months, reliable, predictable electricity once again became a way of life for millions of South Africans, setting the stage for a brighter outlook all around. As South Africans marked the 30th anniversary of democracy and prepared to go to the polls, economists predicted a revival in domestic growth, accompanied by some relief for the consumer. As it turned out, a greater change was in store. Across the divide, hands reached out in a quest for unity and the greater good. Markets rose, the rand strengthened, hope soared. And yet, we know that hope must be anchored in the bedrock of reality. In so many ways, that bedrock is fragile. What will it take to overcome the challenges of crumbling infrastructure, shortfalls in service delivery, and a growing lack of a commodity so essential to growth in every area of life? Water. The answer? Political will. Public-private collaboration. Massive investment. But more than that, it will take resilience. It's what keeps us going. It's what keeps us reaching higher, striving further, to build the future of our dreams. We are SAPOA, working together, pooling our resources, building our strengths, accomplishing greatness as one. Welcome to the SAPOA Annual Convention 2024. We would like to thank our sponsors, Fortress Real Estate Investments, Growth Point Property.
Good morning, everyone. I know it's been an early morning for some of us, specifically those who got stuck on the bus last night and arrived here after 11 o'clock. Although I heard there was a counter opposition party who spent some time at the bar, even after the 11 o'clock arrival. I'm not sure who they are, where they are, if they're even in the room, but well done, guys. That's impressive. So good morning, everybody. My name is Melanie. I'm the chairperson of ALT Capital Partners. And it's such a privilege to have you, our distinguished investors, partners, and colleagues here with us today. This is our very first annual general meeting here in the Eastern Cape, a province that reflects both the challenge and the promise of South Africa's spatial economy. We gather not in a corporate auditorium, but in proximity to our work. The Melanie Retail Centre, which you toured yesterday, you saw for yourselves, well, some of us did, others arrived a little bit later. You saw for yourselves the daily rhythm of a community that now shops, banks, and works within walking distance of home. That proximity between capital and community is what defines the Reimagine Fund and the ethos, ultimately, of ALT Capital Partners. So, to our limited partners, to our fellow directors, thank you for being in the room, our management team, who made all of this happen, and our local partners joining us here today. Welcome. And thank you for being part of our journey of inclusive investment. This past financial year was defined by consolidation. It's been a year of proving that our systems, our governance, and our strategy are resilient. Through the Reimagine Social Impact Retail Fund, we have now deployed over 950 million rand across 13 sites, although I must admit that this team is moving at such a rapid pace, I might already be behind the numbers. 10 of those sites are fully income producing, and together these assets serves more than 130,000 community members, support over 1,100 jobs, and generate stable inflation-hedged income streams for investors. Our environmental performance improved markedly. Energy and water use at Lesedi and Melanie are now within international efficiency benchmarks. Our vendor transformation outcomes are exemplary. Over 93% of procurement spend is directed to level 1 to 4 BEE suppliers, the majority being Black-owned and women-led enterprises. Operationally, we completed ESG due diligence investigations across 5 new investments, transitioned our property management from prominent properties to accelerate JHI, and strengthened data reporting and oversight. Perhaps most importantly, we shifted from reactive compliance to proactive sustainability positioning. The environmental and social management system, coupled with correction action plans reviewed quarterly by the board, ensures that ESG is a management discipline, not a marketing narrative. These result affirms that our thesis, impact and performance are mutually reinforcing, is no longer aspirational. It's demonstrable. ALT Capital Partners has matured into a governance-driven organization with institutional discipline that rivals more established fund managers. Our boards and committees have sharpened their mandates with refreshed charters, annual evaluations, and structured succession planning through the nominations committee. Each subcommittee has become more than a compliance mechanism. It is a source of insight, challenge, and accountability. But what truly sets us apart is who sits around our table. Our leadership reflects diversity in age, gender, race, and culture. And that diversity has transformed the how of what we do. It has shaped the texture of our debates, the empathy with which we approach communities, and the innovation with which we balance financial discipline and social intent. Different lived experiences have made us more self-aware, more adaptive, and more grounded in the realities of the markets that we serve. This is what governance with soul looks like. Diverse minds shaping disciplined outcomes. So when investors ask me what distinguishes alt capital partners, I generally respond with, we are a firm built not only on skill, but on perspective. Our journey is sustained by the confidence of our investors. From the Public Investment Corporation, the Telkom Retirement Fund, the Motor Industry Fund, Eskom Pension and Provident Fund, Fukile Property Fund, you are all in the room. Your continued participation continues to validate the integrity of our systems and the relevance of our strategy. We honor that trust through transparency and accountability. Our ESG reporting, including quarterly dashboards, site-level KPIs, and the annual integrated report, which will be presented to you later today, is designed not just to comply, but truly inform. We submit to independent ESG reviews, external audits, and to the rigorous corrective action plan, thank you PIC, required by our limited anchor partner, the PIC. This level of discipline is what allows us to stand before you today with credibility. It reminds us that stewardship of capital is a public responsibility, one that demands both technical precision and ethical clarity. Turning to the broader landscape, South Africa's retail sector continues to navigate strong headwinds. Low consumer confidence, high energy and logistic costs, and declining municipal services capacity. Yet the bigger story is that the national economy is rebalancing. With constrained public finances, the state can no longer build its way out of inequality alone. The private sector, and in particular private equity, has an increasingly vital role to play as a partner in development, not just a participant in markets. Through Regulation 28, the National Development Plan, and the Sustainable Development Goals, we are seeing policy alignment that legitimizes what impact investors like alt capital partners have long understood. That capital, when deployed intentionally, can be developmental and profitable at once. Our work in township and rural retail demonstrates what this partnership model can look like in practice. The state provides the enabling policy and infrastructure framework. Private equity brings disciplined capital allocation, governance, and efficiency. And communities contribute demand, local knowledge, and human capital. When those three forces converge, inclusive growth becomes achievable. Township and rural markets remain underdeveloped but demographically dynamic. Consumer demand for accessible retail, healthcare, and financial services is resilient. And global investors are increasingly allocating to real estate strategies or real asset strategies with measurable social and environmental outcomes. This is where the Reimagine Fund sits, at the intersection of necessity and opportunity. Our model, community-centric, retail-anchored in essential services, demonstrates that inclusive infrastructure is both economically viable and socially transformative. So, impact is not just a chapter in our sustainability report. It is a rhythm you can feel when you join us in the field. At Melanie, young people are earning their first paychecks in formal retail. In Lesedi, more than 400 construction jobs were created, a quarter filled by local residents. In Ekhopumleni, informal traders have transitioned into formal shops, gaining stability, credit history, and dignity. Across our portfolio, over 117 SMEs are trading within our centres, gaining stability, credit history. More than half of them black women-owned. The problem with reading your speech, right? Every site represents not just a property, but a platform for employment, enterprise, and empowerment. So every time I visit these developments, I'm reminded that our true product is not a building. In the words of our CEO, it is belonging. The dividend of impact investment or investing is human. It's safer streets, it's local pride, it's children seeing opportunity closer to home. And these moments remind us, I hope, that finance at its core is a human business. I'm looking at you, Marde. You're forever telling us it's a human business, and you are so right. It is built on trust, consistency, and care. Beyond our portfolio, ALT Capital Partners is helping to shape, I believe, the future of private equity in South Africa. We participate actively in SAFCA surveys, in policy discussions, and engagement with regulators and DFIs to strengthen the enabling environment for inclusive investment. And our ecosystem extends beyond the financial community. We collaborate with municipalities, local entrepreneurs, and community forums, co-designing developments that reflect how people actually live and trade. Yesterday's visit to Ekhopumleni was a reminder of what collaboration looks like when trust is built over time. Community leaders who once met us with skepticism now co-own the vision of shared prosperity. We are equally intentional about knowledge sharing. Our data, impact methodologies, and ESG systems are open to peer learning because we believe that the future of sustainable investing depends on collective capability, not proprietary advantage. In doing so, we show that private equity executed with intentionality and inclusion can be a national growth engine, driving localization, industrialization, and job creation in places where the state alone cannot reach. This is not just ALT's story. It is a blueprint for how the broader industry can strengthen confidence in the transformative power of private markets. So, our strategic focus for the coming year will center on 3 imperatives: portfolio optimization, improving asset performance, tenant retention, and environmental efficiency, while exploring green building certification to future-proof value; digital intelligence, deploying our data and decision support tools for real-time ESG tracking; catchment analysis and capital allocation modeling; and growth and partnerships, advancing the Ganyesa and Kwamakwe developments, exploring co-investment opportunities, and leveraging partnerships with utilities such as Bolide Energy to improve our sustainability outcomes. We will also continue to build our institutional platform, strengthening human capital, refining risk frameworks, and embedding climate and AI-driven analytics into investment decision-making. And as we look to the next horizon, there are 3 emerging frontiers that will shape our agenda. 1, climate resilience, integrating adaptive measures and energy innovation into every development so that our assets are not just sustainable, but future-proofed. 2, technology and AI, using predictive analytics to anticipate tenant behavior, optimize maintenance, and measure impact in real time. And finally, youth and skills, developing the next generation of African investment professionals through internships, mentorship, and leadership programs that reflect our transformation ethos. These aren't side projects. They are the future architecture of ALT Capital Partners, a data-driven, climate-conscious, and people-powered firm. So as I close, I want to bring this conversation full circle. From individual sites and portfolios to the larger story of who we are becoming as a firm and as a sector. Private equity, when governed with discipline and executed with empathy, is one of the most powerful levers for inclusive economic growth. It mobilizes long-term capital, builds resilient infrastructure, strengthens local supply chains, and most importantly, it creates opportunity where the market once saw risk. Our experience proves that inclusive private equity is not a compromise. It's smart economics. It drives returns and renewal, not just for investors, but for our country. So, to our investors, thank you. Not just for your belief in us, but for your partnership. To my fellow directors, thank you for your wisdom and accountability. To our management team, thank you for turning ambition into measurable outcomes. To our partners, thank you for facilitating our dreams. And finally, to the communities that we serve, thank you for your trust. On a personal note, serving as the chair of ALT Capital Partners has reminded me that leadership is less about control and more about coherence, aligning purpose, people, and performance in service of something larger than ourselves. So as we begin today's session, I leave you with a final reflection. How can we, as stewards of capital, continue to improve or to prove that diversity, dignity, and discipline are not ideals, but the foundation of enduring value. Thank you very much.